Hello everybody, welcome to this week's weekly love energy reading. It is November 12th. My name is Jane. Thank you guys so much for being here. So I'm really excited about the energy this week because of this building eclipse, which is happening on the 19th, which is next week. This particular eclipse is kind of involved with Uranus because the new moon preceding this eclipse was directly opposite. So there's this quality of change, of needed change, of releasing control or releasing your illusion of control. Venus coming through Capricorn right now, she's moving into her shadow phase. Now, I always feel on a personal level for me, and this may or may not translate for you, but I always feel that the buildup or the initial shadow phase of a planet's retrograde is always so much more powerful and potent than the retrograde itself. So as we make our way through Venus's shadow, there's opportunity for you to really do the work that's needed within your relationships and how you receive love. Capricorn is here to help us do the work, to help us get into the nitty-gritty of a situation, to get to the crux of an issue and do the work that is needed to fully come to a point of completion or to a point of wholeness or, in Saturn's terms, a point of harvest. This is ultimately about success. This is about winning. This is about ambition and our goals and what it is that we truly want within a relationship. If needs are not being met right now, Mars in Scorpio is going to really make sure that that information is being delivered, not only to you, but to your person as well. So don't be shy. Don't be afraid to speak up. Don't be afraid to really say what's on your mind, because that is the only way that a union or a relationship can really be solidified. This is a week of communication for sure, but it's also a week of honesty. All right, so let's go ahead and get into this reading. So we have two readings, just like we have last week. We're doing collective readings. So the timestamps are in the description box below, so you can quickly jump from reading to reading. All right, see you guys in just a sec. All right, you guys, so this is for the relationship people, okay? People who are in established connections, who are married, who are in relationships. Same as last week, okay? We have the left-hand side and the right-hand side. This is going to represent the people that are watching this, all right? This is you. Now, you may resonate a little bit more with this side, and that's totally fine. It's just a general reading, but I'm going to speak to this as though this was you. So let's get started with your energy, which I'm so drawn to this Justice card because you seem to be the rock this week. You seem to be the one that is balanced, logical, rational, offering sound advice, offering objective viewpoints. But I don't really know that there's a lot other than that for you to really do. Last week I did sense that there was a kind of a separate togetherness going on. I think there's a continuation of that because we have the Fool, which came out for the partner side last week as well. So your partner is definitely on some kind of new thing, right? They've got a new endeavor, they have a new passion, a new hobby, they have a new thing they want to go out to attain, to achieve. They have a new kind of vision with the Two of Wands. You know, with the Emperor energy here, there's this trailblazing, I'll use the word masculine because it's the Emperor, right? There's a divine masculine quality that is just coursing through. Your partner is needing to accomplish, needing to achieve. And I don't know that your partner's focus can be on the relationship itself as much as you would like. You being here, offering that stability, offering that balance, but it also may lead you feeling just a little bit lacking, okay? Because if your partner is, wide-eyed and bushy-tailed looking at something totally different and you're here continually offering support, is that energy being directed back to you. Now, with the world reversed on your side, it's almost as, please keep in mind that this is temporary, that this is not a permanent situation that you're in. And you're both on your own tracks, you're both being triggered, you're both being affected in your own unique ways. The real way to love each other right now is through listening. You're going to have to really listen to them, and they are going to have to really listen to you, which means communication is so critical. We do have Mercury in Scorpio this month, right? So Mercury in Scorpio is about communicating with a raw truth, with a raw, deep, meaningful, style that it's not filtered. It's not, superficial. This is about the real things that are really going on. So this is not a time to get worked up about symptoms. All right. So what I mean by that, I'm going to use an example here. So a lot of times, let's say a partner doesn't immediately put the dirty dishes in the dishwasher, or they brush their teeth and the little toothpaste flecks get on the mirror, and that bugs you. Right? So you start to get annoyed about the dirty dishes or the toothpaste on the mirror. But it's not really about the dirty dish, and it's not really about the toothpaste on the mirror. What it's really about is a sense of disrespect. Okay? So you're going to have to be really clear on how where these symptoms are really rooted, and you're going to have to be brave enough to truly communicate and say, this is how it really makes me feel. It makes me feel disrespected. It makes me feel like what I'm needing doesn't matter, because you're over here in your world, and you're making things happen, and you're in your vision space, and there's a lot of activity going on here, and I'm being as supportive as I possibly can, but it makes me feel left behind, or whatever it is. Okay, you're going to have to come up with your own things, with your own real feelings, but you have to clear the air here. You're going to have to. Guys, we're building up to a full moon eclipse, so things are intense. They're getting intense as we speak. And there are heightened emotions because it is Scorpio season. There are heightened emotions because the moon is very close to the earth. There's heightened emotion because, we're craving so much change in our lives. Your partner is definitely craving change. It seems like your partner is actually going after the things, right? They are implementing the steps. They're going forward. But I don't know that there's a lot of space for you in this particular endeavor. And I feel like there's not a lot that you can do. Knight of Coins reversed. There's kind of this coming up empty. Like, you can be this justice card all you want. You can be, oops, it scared me. My little alert on my computer scared me. But you can be firm in your advice, in your logic, in your rationale. But I don't necessarily know that is going to be a very feel-good place for you. To be very understanding might not feel good, because you might not be getting your emotional needs met. You might not be getting your closeness needs met. Because I'm getting a kind of a little bit of a feeling of, the word that's coming to my mind is loneliness. I don't want to project that out too much, though, because not everyone is going to be feeling totally lonely within their relationships. It's just that there is a little bit of a disconnect right now. We even have, with the sexual card here, the Queen of Swords. And this is an interesting card because she's not even with someone. She's looking at like a painting, right? So she's just kind of here alone looking at a painting and kind of feeling through her own sexual or creative energy here. So there's a lot of internal solo work that is needing to be done for you to have the strength to really be, comfortable with a partner who is maybe not as there for you as you are there for them. And this may be deeply triggering for any abandonment wounds or emotional unavailability type of wounds, because you may be perceiving something as a specific way, but I don't necessarily think that that's really the case. This is just, again, same as last week, a story of two people on two very different paths who just happen to be in a relationship together, who are bonded in a specific kind of way. But just because you are bonded does not mean that you are going to be having the same experiences. Listening, communication, so critical this week. Otherwise, right, expectations lead to disappointments. If you are expecting something without communicating those expectations, there will be disappointment. If you need something but are not communicating those needs, there will be disappointment. And disappointment can lead to resentment, and that's absolutely 100% not what we want. So if there is even an ounce of an issue, sit down, clear the air. An emperor is usually pretty a mature quality. A justice card is a pretty mature quality. Unfortunately, the emperor with the Aryan archetype versus the Libran archetype, there is the quality of the self versus the partnership. You're a little bit more aligned right now with the partnership, whereas your partner is a little bit more aligned with themselves. But when these two things can come together, they both can truly exist. And there can be room for love to grow. There can be a deepening effect, which is the essence of Scorpio season. There can be a deepening effect of this connection because it takes you to new levels of understanding of what this connection truly is. This is not about this is not about pointing the fingers of like, well, you didn't put the dish in the dishwasher. Well, you aren't putting your dirty laundry in the laundry basket. Well, you're not doing this and you're not doing this and you're not. This is not about shame or blame. This is not about being a victim. This is about two mature people with two highly developed levels of self-awareness coming to the table and hashing something out. And being honest and being a little bit harsh if you need to be harsh. Guys, not only Scorpio season, but also Sagittarius and Capricorn and Aquarius season. Like if we're going to be harsh, now's the time to do it. And it's not harsh to be hurtful. It's harsh to get the truth across. Because sometimes if we're a little too diplomatic, if we're a little too kind or a little too accommodating, then the point doesn't translate. Then the real issue does not become, noticeable enough. And I'm not saying to like purposely hurt each other's feelings, but you have to be willing to be honest, regardless of what that honesty really is. And the only way for two people to come closer at a time like this is with that honesty. Because it's not healthy for you within a relationship to feel sad or sorrowful or feeling left behind or lonely, or it's not fair for you to be feeling that while your partner is feeling invigorated and, feeling so entirely stimulated by what they have going on. That's not a fair, equal situation. It's not about compromise. I'm stealing this from Teal Swan a little bit. Okay, compromise is a very harmful thing for a relationship because it requires two people to lose. It's really a lose-lose situation because you feel like you have to give something up. They feel like they have to give something up. And you have now two people who feel like they're in a losing position. So this is about finding a win-win. That's why listening is the most prominent card here with clear the air. We even have sage here, get the negativity out. because likely any kind of resentment or any kind of, negative feelings toward each other, likely any of that kind of stuff, no matter what degree it is, can be easily resolved just by knowing that your partner feels like that. It can be resolved by tracing it back to why you feel this way, which again is very Scorpionic, to get to the real subconscious, deep underworld, buried place in terms of why this pain is arising or why this issue is really, coming up for grabs right now. Scorpio forces us to face our underworld, and by making itself known, there can be disconnect. But really, Scorpio season is about love. It's about exchange and learning how to properly exchange energy with one another, learning how to properly give and take, learning how to have a unified union. Because I see one person a little bit more self-involved here, and I see another person being very considerate of both sides. Maybe a little too considerate of the other side and not considerate of themselves enough. So if this is very one-sided right now, this is a week as we build up to that eclipse. Again, Taurus is a very self-reliant sign. So there is a lot of selfish, not negative quality selfishness, but there is a lot of self-focused or self-prioritizing stuff that must happen. You're going to have to self-prioritize. They may be a little too self-prioritized. Expectations right now is the killer, though. It's not... you can expect your partner to be respectful, right? And if you feel disrespected, you can expect to have that conversation and expect that your partner will truly listen. Those are okay types of expectations. But to have an expectation that is uncommunicated, that's going to lead to the disappointment. So it's important for each of you to take that accountability in order to bring something to the table. Otherwise, there's going to be a distance. She's looking at a painting here, which means she's all on her own. She's not fully connected. She's not fully engaged with something real. She's engaged with a fantasy, with an illusion. She's engaged with a projection. So that's something to pay attention to. Are you engaging with a projection? Are you engaging with something that isn't real? And how do you take that and pull yourself back to a place of a reality, right? Because justice, again, very logical, very rational. It's not the most emotional card. In fact, it's the only zodiac sign symbol, right? We've got the bull, we've got the ram, we have the crab, the scorpion, the water bear, right? Every zodiac sign is symbolized by an animate object, a sentient quality, except justice, which is an inanimate object. Pulling emotion out of it for the sake of saying, okay, are my feelings just hurt for some reason? This is a time that it's okay to be objective. I don't always say use your head, because usually it's our head that gets in the way. But right now, it's your head that is going to be beneficial. It's the logic and the rationalization that is going to help you to say, okay, and then maybe not, I know I'm putting a lot of this on you. That's because this is on your side. But again, it's both sides to help each of you to say, am I overreacting? Does this have a little bit more to do with a past trauma? Am I communicating well? This is about using logic for your own accountability and also holding your partner accountable as well. Because if for whatever reason your partner is over here kind of in their la la land doing their thing, and they're not communicating with you, well, then you have to hold them accountable as well. And hopefully they can hold themselves accountable. So this is an opportunity to really level up in so many more ways than probably you were ever hoping. Probably not really hoping to be here, but to level up, to really be there for each other in a more productive way, to be there for each other in a more mature way, sort of enhancing the self-awareness of the relationship itself. I sense you being a little bit more empathic right now, which may or may not be a good thing. This is not a good time to be adjusting your behavior to match someone else. This is a time to be fully empowered within what you are, to be fully empowered with what you know to be true for you, and to be fully empowered in what you know that you deserve. And to be strong in maintaining that, and strong in holding your partner up to certain standards. If for whatever reason your partner shuts off, doesn't participate in the communication, doesn't really engage or make adjustments, or if you feel like your partner isn't listening for any stretch, for any reason, that's another issue. Because it's not taking your needs seriously. It's not taking your needs, it's not prioritizing them. Many of you will have partners that are mature enough to slow down, to check themselves, and they will listen, and they will want to clear the air. They don't want the animosity. They don't want the resentment. They also want the balance. They also want the healthy relationship. And if their partner is lagging or feeling insecure or feeling whatever you may be feeling with the world reversed with the Five of Cups, if you're feeling stuck or feeling stagnant or feeling resentful or feeling in pain, or you get to decide what that is. But if they have a partner who is feeling that, it is going to make their vision a lot dimmer, because they're not going to have you truly by their side. So they'll take pause. They'll pump the brakes and say, okay, wow, like I didn't realize that maybe I was getting a little too far in this one direction. I didn't realize that my partner was feeling this way. I didn't know. I wasn't perceiving that. Okay. And so this is why that harsh truth. And again, it's not blaming and shooting out negative things and saying, well, you never do this, and pointing fingers and all that. This is not that kind of communication. And I hope that your emperor person, whoever this person is, can offer that for you, because you deserve it, and they also deserve it as well. Because you all deserve a healthy relationship. You all deserve to be on the same page with your partner. And when there's a feeling of separation, or there's a feeling of disconnect, or like you can't really fully engage with your person, it can be something that festers in your mind a little bit too much sometimes. It can be something that rolls around and builds into something else. It morphs. It mutates. That's probably a better word. It mutates. So clear the air. Listen to one another. This is not about expectations. It's not about projections. It's about the reality of the situation, the reality of what's being said. Be careful. Both parties need to be careful not to build things up in their head to be something that they just simply are not. Because likely this is just a misunderstanding, or it's just a moment in time where this person's doing this and you're doing this, and it's hard to really come together here. But it doesn't mean you can't, because you definitely can. And if you can, it takes the relationship to a whole new level of respect. And when there is respect within a relationship, anything is possible. Think Outlander, right? Claire and Jamie, think like that. Like there's huge respect there. Of course, I have to use a show, but just to illustrate the point. Okay? Eclipses. It was to be expected, right? It was to be expected that there's stuff to work through because darkness makes itself known during eclipses. The underworld makes itself known, especially with the aspect of Scorpio. So, the next year and a half with the nodes coming into Taurus and Scorpio will be an opportunity to get well acquainted on the deepest level of our true operating system, what's really going on back there. And this is the beginning of that. So you can think of this as a purge a little bit. And if you can embrace the purge, then the upcoming eclipses over the next year and a half are going to be even that much more potent, even that much more powerful. And you are going to get more raw and more successful with probably everything you do because of your you being in honor of who you really are. Okay? All right, I'm going to leave you guys with that. Thank you so much. You guys know I love you. Have an amazing week. All right, take care. Bye-bye. All right, everybody. So this reading is for the singles out there, for the singles who are looking for love or hoping to find some meaningful connection in their life. Doesn't have to be romantic, although I will speak to this in romantic terms. Now, this is the side that's going to represent you, the viewer. This is the side that's going to represent the external environment. Now, I don't necessarily see a specific person kind of showing up here, but I do see energies that can be extremely useful to get you to that place that's going to attract the real love of your life, okay? Like a kind of healthy, forever and always, same page, same emotional intelligence level and all of that, okay? Which has kind of been the story for quite some time now. Let's go ahead and start with the Death card because it is the only upright card on your side. Now, you know that you've changed. Like you're not in a place of putting up with the same BS that you used to anymore. You're at a place of awareness now where that cycle, that pattern, that habit is so obvious to you now. So the minute you start receiving red flags or you start seeing signs that are reminiscent of something from the past that was not so great, you're immediately going to confront it. Doesn't mean you're going to push people out of your life, but you're going to say like, hey, this isn't right. And with Mars in Scorpio right now, there's a lot of confrontational energy. Right? There's a lot of even kind of abrupt energy as well. It's like, okay, this crossed a line. I didn't like when this person said this. I didn't like the way this made me feel. I'm going to address this now. I'm not going to wait and see. I'm not going to shove it under the rug. I'm just going to confront it. So because of this energy, you're actually shifting the entire, like the whole playing field, right? You are becoming the real, like on a radio, you are officially the tuning dial, right? You're the one that changes the frequency. And I love that because this particular card right here says, let others meet you at your level. Don't lower your vibration to meet theirs. And with this Death card being in Scorpio season, we have the Scorpio card here. Also the Strength card as well, which I'll tie in later. But there is just absolutely no way that you're going to pull yourself down because you work so hard to get up here. And that's a beautiful moment, I think, of realization. And it's going to open the door for you for belief, right? Because we have this clarity of belief. This is what happens. Like when you are in a heightened state of awareness and you consciously choose to not lower yourself into the muck of lower vibration, you open the door for believing that there are others in this realm as well. And I think the universe is going to start proving to you that yes, there are a lot of people on this same level as you. And because you refuse to go down or you refuse to go backwards, do you guys remember the beginning of the Scorpio reading that I was talking about? I'm sorry, that didn't make any sense. The November readings that I did, I talked about this is not a time to go backwards. The only people who might be going backwards are Libra and Leo. But other than that, everyone else is really pushing forwards here. There's this drive to never, ever, ever go back. And when you are so driven and so ambitious, the universe cannot help but respond. And it will respond by confirming what you believe. Choose your belief wisely. Like, we know confirmation bias, right? Like, we know that, right? Like, if you believe that something is unhealthy for you and you go online, you're going to see a million things that confirm your belief that something is bad for you. You're going to hear people say it. You're going to read it in magazines. You're going to see it on billboards. Like, you're going to see it everywhere. Whether or not that's true is completely irrelevant. So you get to choose your belief, knowing that confirmation is going to be a real thing. So choose the belief that an Ace of Cups, I love this, Ace of Chalices, because there is such a romantic, emotionally connected, deeply loving quality coming through. To believe that this is real, to believe that this exists. I think I had a couple of negative comments on my reading last week that really made me so sad, because it was people that they really don't believe. And because they don't believe, the world is just going to keep proving them right. And I'm even getting emotional, just even like, why would you not believe? This is magician quality right here. Belief is such a beautiful ingredient that you can add. You don't have to have belief always to do magician type stuff. But it helps a lot. It's like that extra kick. It's like the heat of a spell. Belief is the heat. It's like adding a bunch of cayenne pepper in there, like bam, it's going to be a noticeable ingredient that's going to really spice up this particular concoction, this creation that you're creating. Belief is a catalyst. It's something that heals us. It's something that opens doors. Clarity of belief. And some may be struggling a little bit with really believing, because 5 of Wands was the past experience, chaos, drama, trauma, unhealthy connections, projections. But with death and the High Priestess here, this is saying all of that can be washed away. I'm almost feeling a baptismal quality, and maybe that's Scorpio stuff, right? It's baptismal. Spiritually cleansing. Let the universe, let the world, let your higher self get dunked down so deep that everything peels off. Can I share a personal experience that I had? I had a kind of an epiphany, if you will, this week. I was sitting at my desk and I just felt like I was in love. But there's no one person. And I realized that the feeling of being in love is something that we can just be. And it can feel romantic. Like, you can have a romantic quality of love that is not directed toward a person. And that in times in the past where I felt that, it was always because of that person, that I loved that person. But this week I realized that it wasn't that person at all. It's that This person inspired that feeling of love within me. And here I am, totally single, right? But feeling romantically in love with just where I'm at. And I feel like that's kind of the quality of the feminine nature of the high priestess. And there can be a romantic flavor here. To be romantically involved with your life, romantically involved with the sunrise, romantically involved with your cup of coffee in the morning, to have that kind of romantic dance that happens when you are thrilled to just be where you are. Everything seems more pleasurable. Your senses are heightened. There's a level of excitement as you progress throughout your day. This is what's trying to be rebirthed, if you're not already there. Some of you may already be there, but this is what is trying to be rebirthed for you. And in the external world, you have a lot of things being shown to you. You're seeing people exhibit their own strength. You're seeing people become free. I feel as though you're getting two sides. You have the left side and you have the right side. The left side are examples of people who are doing what they know to be right for them, who have the courage, right, strength. They have that courage to really go against the grain. They have the courage to break out of their circumstances. They have the courage to believe. It's weird how courageous how belief is such a courageous act. And when you see people who don't believe and you start equating a lack of belief as, I'm not going to say a weakness, I don't think it's a weakness, but it's due to a weak spirit, it kind of pushes you toward the belief component a little bit harder, a little bit more. Clinging to the power of belief because you know how relevant it can be for your manifestations. So you're going to see people doing that, and then you're going to see people clinging. You're going to see people not willing to let go of their safe places, clinging to what they know, grasping in a state of desperation and completely ignoring their own hierophant. And I always say this is your guru, right? Your own internal guardian voice. When people are completely deaf to that voice, look at the circumstances of their being. Their energy field is depleted. Their aura is punctured. There's something lacking. There's a fire that is lacking within them. And this is a choice point for you. Do you want to be like these types of people, or do you want to be like these types of people? I would suspect that like 99% of you who are here watching this are going to choose to pull in this particular energy for this particular rebirth process, because it makes more sense. Because it's conscious attraction. I'm looking at this temporary card. I'm sorry, I know I'm pausing. I'm talking really slow because I'm trying to remember the reading last week. Because I think I remember saying, I could be totally wrong on this, but I think I remember saying something along the lines of, this might be just a month for some of you. It might be a year or 2 years for others of you. But either way, in the grand scheme of things, it is a very, very short period of time. It'll be interesting, the more and more I do this reading, how many people find love throughout 2022, which is a year ruled by Venus, because they took the steps here, now, in this moment, to allow the rebirth to occur, to allow themselves to stay up on their high vibrational throne and to treat it and to respect it like that. Because when you treat your vibration, when you treat your energy as a throne, when you respect the throne, okay, it's, like you are going to be so empowered in ways that you never thought you could be because you respect life. It's like, in certain cultures, how they never put the purse on the floor because it shows a disrespect toward your money. Like, no, you don't put it on the floor. You put it on its own cushion, or you hang it up, or you treat it with respect. When you start treating your own vibration with an air of respect, amazing things can transpire for you, because when you're in that throne space, you are a conscious creator at that point. So you're going to see dual sides of this, the people who are not and the people who are. And the more and more you adopt or adapt, or the more you, adopt into your own life, the more you pull in from these courageous, free people who are changing their circumstances. See, these people are leaders for you in the way that you are going to become a leader for someone else. Because every time someone steps out of their internal prison, every time someone finds freedom and someone is inspired by that and does it themselves, this is a legacy that is never ending. And with the rate that people are breaking free right now, it's like insane, right? People are waking up every single day. They're learning and growing and healing and becoming more and more whole and more complete. And the more and more an individual does that, the greater the legacy. You're a part of the legacy. Don't forget that. Okay? All right, you guys. I'm just going to leave you with that. I don't remember if I pulled out oracle cards or not. I honestly don't. But yeah, I'm going to leave you there. Thank you guys so much. It's going to be a great week. You guys know I love you. I wish you nothing but the best. Take care.